Well, I knew one day it would happen. And of course, it did. Everyone remembers the first time they got their first login champion, Yaga the Insatiable. And yesterday in the clan chat, a couple of questions were asked about this champion in particular. Many members of my clan are still really early game. And the good thing is the questions keep on coming. Guys, welcome to the channel. This is your girl, Wicked Raider 22. Want to take a deeper look at this particular champion and how some of us use him in the game. And then I'll be honest with you and give you a couple of my experiences with Yaga the Insatiable. But of course, we're going to look at the reviews, take a look at his skills, kind of think of other champions you may be able to surround him with that may improve your gameplay, depending on what area of the game you're focusing in. And then I'll give a little opinion sprinkled in as well. So, first things first, when you receive this champion, you are probably chugging away somewhere between level 20 to 30. Some of you guys are really pushing it, so you've moved up in levels quite a bit. And the question becomes, how do you figure out where a champion will best fit? What team, what gear? It's all working together to come to a good ending. Now, first things first, when you log into reviews, your jaw is probably going to drop. It's the assumption that if you are a login champion, that you should be one of the stronger champions within your faction. And I'll be honest, with Yaga the Insatiable, I was not impressed. I have not been impressed with this champion on any of my accounts, whether free to play or pay to play. And unfortunately, I believe I've either vaulted this particular champion or use him as food. I know so many people get on me about epic champions, vaulting them and keeping them for later. I'm going to do a whole video on it. It's one of my worst habits, but this is a champion that originally, when I first started the game, I was so excited to get him. Really thought he was going to be a game changer. And in a lot of areas, he fell flat. So let's look at skills. Virulent Cleaver attacks one enemy and has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Now, with this particular skill, if you have a champion whose skills are based on if a poison debuff has been placed, maybe, but I'll be honest, you can increase damage by 15%. The buff debuff percentage can also be increased by 10%. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan because, of course, it attacks, one enemy. The other thing is there are a lot of poison debuffers in the game. Depending on which starting champion you selected, if you have, there are champions that deal poison damage, but the skill was not mind blowing for me. Second skill, Hungering Plague, attacks one enemy 2 times. Already not impressed. He kind of reminds me of a Banner Lord at this point, with that attacks one enemy. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. The damage can be increased by 20%. The buff debuff chance can also be increased by 25%. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. And in this game, skills on a 4-turn cooldown have to be absolutely just worth the wait. And this skill is not. It is not. Being that his damage is based on attack, I have geared out the champion in a couple of ways. The amount of damage he's throwing in doesn't compare, for example, to even a Marquez. I've gotten more damage out of Frozen Banshee than I have out of Yaga the Insatiable. Third skill, attacks one enemy. Damage increases by 25% against targets under poison debuffs. So again, he's one of those champions that is able to increase the amount of damage given based on what's present or what debuff has been placed on an enemy. First things first, Plarium, any champion you pull that attacks one enemy for all 3 skills is going to automatically drop down a notch. Guys, this is an epic champion that you have been waiting waiting to acquire because you're so excited because they are your first login champion. So by this point, you have already selected your starter rare. So you're either looking at Collect, Elhain, Aethel, or Kale. You have already had your 7-day login champion, which for some was Talia, Deliana. Some were, it was Ultimate Death Knight. There are a couple of options that are always rotating. So you have that champion as well. And many of you guys have either acquired like an Ultimate Death Knight, who's a legendary, or you have mysteriously from a shard pool, you have acquired your first legendary. So when Yaga the Insatiable hits your account, the expectation is progression. It's what you're doing right now. A lot of you guys are grinding away. You're at level, you're in the 20s, you're in the 30s, you're trying to climb, open up the forge. You've opened up market by this point. You're trying to open up tag team arena. So there are different areas of the game you're pushing yourself. You want to get ready and see who do you want to 6-star first? When can I get to clan boss and doom tower? And then you get this kind of champion. Yaga the Insatiable is only step one in areas of the game where you will literally get excited and realize the team you already have in place is as good as it's going to get for the moment. I would absolutely not 6-star Yaga the Insatiable. This is a champion you rarely see in arena. It is a champion that you rarely see others run or talk about very deeply in the game. And it's really because of the skill sets. No matter the team he's placed on, can he do damage? Yes. Does it give you Marquez feels? No, I haven't achieved that. Does it even give me, honestly, shield guard feels? Not really. I have played Shield Guard in some gear and absolutely outdone Yaga the Insatiable. I have run him on teams with good support players as well. On my pay to play, for example, I think I acquired Dur the Hungerer right after I got Yaga the Insatiable. I ran both of those champions together, and I spent quite a bit of time looking at even Dur the Hungerer outdoing Yaga in several areas of the game. It becomes one of those, if you 5-star this champion because you are seeing progression with him, I would stop at 5-star and really, really, really do inventory of my current champions before I decide to use the resources to 6-star this champion. With 3,000 reviews, and even if you're going down YouTube, guys, some of these, the 3.4s, the 2.8, and the 2.5s are like, wow. I think with Yaga, a lot of time you're gonna see him in faction wars, and look, by the time you even do faction wars, not rated highly. Hydra's not working out, which honestly, Hydra is one area of the game by far I found most difficult. I haven't found very many things that work very well in that area. But the poisons, the debuffs he's given, they have absolutely not been worth it. They haven't been worth it. So it's one of those moments. Be careful. Be careful with this champion. Be careful. There are a couple of champions that kind of come to mind that all fall into this category. And honestly, the number one reason that I end up using Yaga is because I get to a point on my account where I have quite a few 4-star champions. I know that I'm going to get a couple of these maxed, and then I'm going to use him to fuel that champion to 5-star. I may vault him on one of my accounts just to see if they do something with him. But even looking at his kits, there are so many areas where improvement could happen. Number one, he could attack all enemies. Let's start there. The attack one enemy is a lot. And I mean, you're looking at every single skill. Having skills placed on a 4-turn cooldown, 4-turn cooldown, it's a lot. And the amount of damage overall that's being done, even if he's in perception gear. I pulled him in cruel. I've done, oh, it's not fierce. There's another one similar to lifesteal. I'm thinking about the emblem for it. It's still not worth it. I've still gotten so much more damage from even rare champions when compared to Yaga the Insatiable. Guys, be careful with your resources. I just did a video based on the tournaments, the events taking place for the Fusion right now. And this is actually one account that I started right after Wicked Raider 22. And I was able to move so much quicker because I made some really tough decisions on who to upgrade and who to not. And this is the fullest that this vault has been. I'm about to trim this thing all the way down, simply because I want to keep this account as slim and trim as possible. I need to 5-star a couple of more champions overall so that I'm able to kind of come in and get some other things done with progression. The only way that I have been able to progress to almost level 40 in these, 30 days, I guess? Has it been 30? In 60 days. I'm sorry. I kept saying it was your 30-day login champion, but that was Hakatoon. In these 60 days is because I've been grinding for that purpose. Yaga the Insatiable, the poison specialist, is a no-go. I was much more excited with Hakatoon. Kind of forgot about my girl because she's become such an integral part of so many teams that I have. I will say 90-day login, Dark Aethel, amazing. Amazing champion, definitely worth 6-starring, to be honest. Will take you at least early to late mid game. You can equip this champion several different ways and get so much out of her. Dark Elhane, on my Otis account, amazing. A great champion. The amount of damage that's done is so impressive. But to have Yaga the Insatiable in between these three ladies, Plarium, we could do better. We could do better. And the goal and the hope is that better will be done. I'm waiting to get Lordly Legionary is next on my list. I am most excited about finally acquiring Seal of the Drakes. Guys, it's been so hard. It's been so hard waiting on her, but definitely want her. But so far, Yaga's gonna be a no-go for me. Well, if you made it this far, hopefully you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're bringing it on down. We're doing a little better, but 91% of people who view my videos are not subscribed. Guys, hit that button. Leave a comment. Let me know, how did you feel about Yaga? Did you keep him on your team? Which is probably the number one thing I'm always asking all the time. If you're using this champion, what area of the game do you actually use him in? I'm going to open this shard just because I can't resist, because that's what I do for no great reason. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. Yeah, I'm going to get better. Spikehead. Spikehead is going to be a no. I'm pretty sure attacks one enemy, increase crit rate, increase attack. Attacks one enemy 3 times. So many of them do. Increases defense by 30%. Yeah, my boy is going to be a no-go. Orcs are always the hardest area for me next to dwarves. So hopefully you guys will have a great week. If you're going after the fusion, good luck, good luck, good luck in the tournaments and events. CVC should be coming around in about a week or so. So I'm definitely going to be gearing up for that one. If you haven't joined a clan, think about joining us. We're going to go in and do a little bit cleaning out. So I should have a few spots that become available. So the tag for our clan is going to be listed in the description. And as always, guys, happy gaming.